Hey everybody, we're going to do a front tire on this 2003 CRF150F. On the right fork you have these four 10mm nuts. Just crack them loose. You don't need to take them all the way off. And with a 17mm wrench, unscrew the axle. Most bikes there's going to be a 12mm nut down here on the stem. This one it's already missing. Normally my next instructions would be to get a valve core remover and take the valve out of the stem. But this one's all bent up. Make sure we have all the air out. I'm just going to go ahead and drill a hole. Now that you got the air out of the tire, push the bead off the rim down into this lower portion of the rim here. Do that on both sides. Then you can get started. Put your two tire irons in about 4 inches apart. Well, this is one of the hard parts. There's a sweet spot here, a little bit too far out and it's hard to hook the tire, and too close in, it's hard to hook the tire too. About 1.5 inches or 2 inches away and your tire iron will slide right in. And keep working your way around the tire. You can go back to the first side. Now when you have both beads pulled off, one on each side, push the rim down in the center and grab onto that and give it a good pull. And now's a good time to inspect your rim. Look for cracks, look for loose spokes. Make sure there isn't anything sharp hanging out in there that gave you the flat in the first place. For this bike, we got a new tire and a brand new tube. If all you're doing is replacing the tube, then save your old tire. Inspect it real good. Make sure you don't have any nails or staples or anything poking in there that gave you the flat. I think it's good to get some baby powder in the tire. It helps with moisture and it stops the rubber from chafing. Now take off the cap and one of these nuts, but you leave one on, and that one's supposed to be about hand tight. So tighten it up as tight as you can with your fingers. And then we're just going to put a tiny bit of air in here, just so it starts to get some shape. Now with our powder in and just a little bit of air in the tube, we'll put it in the tire. Now since I'm here in the shop, I'm going to put some tire paste on here on the bead. If you're out on the trail, you probably won't have access to anything to put on the bead, but a little lubrication really helps. Before you put the tire on, check and see if there's a direction it's supposed to rotate. Not every tire has an arrow, but this one does, and it tells you which way they want the tire spinning. Now get that other nut ready, and put the valve stem through the rim, and just put this nut on, just 1 or 2 threads. You just kind of want to hold it there. Ready to put that first bead on. You don't have to worry about pinching the tube too much at this point. Now flip it over and take a good look and make sure the tube isn't bound up. Sometimes the tube can be folded under. These bead buddies are handy. They're not mandatory, but they help a little bit. And just slide that in. And that holds it there as you're working your way around. It's best to take little bites when you're doing this. And you don't want to feel any rubber between this little hook and the rim when you put it in there. It should feel metal on metal. As the tire gets tighter on the rim, make sure you're pushing down on the opposite side of your tire iron to make sure that bead is down in the lower groove of the rim. And take real small bites. Now you're ready to put a little air in there and make sure the bead seats up onto the rim. Don't get too carried away pumping air in there to get the bead to seat. You can go up to 20 or 30 pounds, but if it's not going, you can let the air out, push the tire back down on the rim and try again. On most tires, there's a line here, so you can see and make sure that it's even. Make sure that the bead has come up all the way around the tire. We can put it back on the bike. But before we do that, I recommend putting a little fresh grease. Get a rag and wipe off these wheel spacers and just put a little fresh grease on there. The grease really helps keep the water out and protects your wheel bearings. Now make sure the axle's tight before you tighten up these 4 10mm. 4 bolts pinch the axle so that it can't wiggle loose while you're riding. Changing your own tire really isn't too bad. I would make sure you have good tire irons. Either of these styles are good. The Bead Buddy does help when you're reinstalling the tire. Most importantly, go slow with little bites and make sure the opposite side of the tire is pushed down while you're doing your work, either going on or taking off. This tire I put on here was a Tusk Recon, and the tube was a Tusk Severe Duty. I think it was about $65, free shipping, for tire and tube. I'll let you guys know how it performs.